YouTube family, it's Sarah, Less of Sarah. It is Black Friday for my American friends, day after Thanksgiving. You're probably hungover and full of turkey and tired from shopping. For me, it's just plain old Friday. But it is still Naked November. Today was my last chance to get in on Naked November, so I had promised I was going to do all my update videos naked for November, so still naked. It's true. So I don't mind my eye makeup. It looks really weird. I was like playing around with this kind of like colored eyeshadow, like sunset kind of looking thing. I don't think I would actually go out in public looking like that, to be honest, but yeah, I was just having fun playing around. Something you may not know about me, I love makeup. I actually, for a while in high school, considered being a makeup artist. I mean, I wanted to do like special effects makeup and that sort of thing as well, but I really, really liked makeup. And I actually got while I was still in high school, I got a college certificate in makeup artistry and skincare. So I know, even though I hardly wear makeup in videos usually, but something you didn't know about me, completely unrelated to what I wanted to talk about today. Today is actually my 52-week update post-op from VSG, or vertical sleeve gastrectomy weight loss surgery, which I had in Mexicali, Mexico with Dr. Aceves on November 30th, 2012, which makes tomorrow my 1-year surgery. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of updating in this video because I don't want to give away all the big numbers for tomorrow's video. But there were a couple things that I wanted to talk about that went on this week. One thing that I wanted to do, which I've kind of gotten away from, unfortunately, is some shout outs. I used to have a list on my phone of like who was having surgery and who had big, hit big milestones and who was new in the community, and my son erased it, and then it's like out of sight, out of mind, and I kind of stopped doing it, which I feel terrible about, because honestly, it's really important to me to recognize people. So what I wanted to do today was introduce you guys to two people who are new-ish. One is really new, or one is new-ish in the community. And I'm going to link their channels below. One is Molly, and her YouTube channel name right now is Malsy Will Be Smalsy, although she said she wanted to change that. But if you want to follow her, I'll put a link in the description box below. I definitely suggest you check her out. She's a couple weeks pre-op. She's just cute as a button. And she's having VSG surgery. And then someone who just started making videos is Chris, or CJ, and you can find him on YouTube as Gooch Monster. And he is also having VSG, and he's about 7 weeks pre-op. Just uploaded his first video yesterday. So I think he just seems great. I could tell his video was like 25 minutes long. I didn't even notice. I was just like, awesome. Just wait till like 42 seconds in the video. You'll see why I fell in love, because I was like, preach, brother, tell it like it is. So anyway, those are two people that I suggest that you start following, new in the community, and please follow them, subscribe to them, encourage them. We need new people in the community, fresh meat. It keeps things interesting. So what happened this week? Well, I've made like a million videos, so you guys have seen me every day. The one big thing that I was doing this week when it comes to eating was redoing partially my pre-op diet. My original pre-op diet was 2 weeks. There was no way I was going to do that. But I'm doing 5 days. Today is actually my last day of doing this pre-op diet. It is a mostly liquid diet. It's low carb, low fat. You get one actual meal a day of like lean protein and green vegetables. Yesterday I did cheat, and I also had an egg at one point during the day because I just felt like I needed some other solid food. I didn't really do it to lose weight. Mostly I did it just as a mental thing. Kind of a reminder of where I came from and what was going on at this time last year, and sort of to remind myself not to take things for granted. And so, I guess I'll talk about the weight loss that I had tomorrow and when I do the numbers, but I don't really want to focus on that. What I will say is I didn't actually lose a lot of weight. So that was interesting in and of itself. And I guess I'll talk about that tomorrow. But today I wanted to talk about kind of the mental aspect of it. And physically, I would say it was much easier than it was the first time around. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with having the sleeve at this point. I've done liquids for a few days before, and I never find it that challenging. Last night was probably the very first time that I really felt like I really craved food, like solid food. And I just like had a couple popsicles and, went on with my business. But really it was very easy physically. I did feel a bit kind of lightheaded, a bit of low energy from the lack of carbs and that sort of thing. But from a physical point of view, it was easy. But mentally, I missed food. I realized like my body is totally fine with protein shakes. I would never do that kind of diet for a long period of time. Don't get me wrong, but just physically I wasn't hungry really at all. And then when I did eat, I had a lot of restriction. So it still works, people. It still works a year out for sure. But I realized that mentally I missed the variety of food that I normally eat. And not like I wanted to eat Oreos or sugar-free chocolate or any of that stuff. I just wanted to eat food. Like I just wanted a cheese or something. So it was a really interesting kind of experiment for me from the mental and emotional aspect of it to see how things had changed in that year and to see what my relationship with food really was like at this point. And I realized just how mental eating is, just how much of it is about what you think you want, because my body was satisfied. But I wasn't. But I felt like I was missing out on real food. And I mean, good, healthy food, but just actual food. And I realized so much of eating is not, it is about nourishing your body. And I do think that you need a wide variety of things to nourish your body properly. But yeah, I'm not explaining this well at all. But I found it really interesting. And I really think it helped to kind of bring this process full circle for me. So I'm happy that I did it. So let's get into what I actually want to talk about today, which was following up on the video that I made. I think I was about 8 weeks post-op or 2 months post-op, and it was called 10 Things I Won't Miss About Being Morbidly Obese. And I just wanted to go through the things I talked about in that video and see how many of them are no longer an issue for me. So let's start. Seatbelt extenders. Don't need those anymore. Not on planes, not in anyone's car, nowhere. Haven't met a seatbelt in the last probably 6 months that I haven't been able to buckle. Not fitting in chairs or booths or stadium seats. Not a problem, guys. Again, haven't had the situation of not fitting in a chair or a booth or a stadium seat or anything like that in months and months. And I've honestly kind of forgotten that I didn't used to fit. And I'll talk about this later, but the anxiety I used to have is totally gone, generally speaking, when it comes to that sort of stuff. Sweating and rashes. I really hardly sweat anymore. I need to be working really hard to sweat. And strangely enough, even though I have excess skin and all of that, I don't get the rashes that I used to get. So that's a plus. Pain and fatigue and lack of energy. All of those things have improved. I still have a bit of a lack of energy, but I don't have the joint pain and that sort of thing that I used to have. I actually have back pain now that I didn't have before, but I'm hoping that's going to sort itself out. It's just sort of transitional. Plus size clothes shopping and adjusting your clothes all the time. So I do still shop in plus size stores a little bit, but I can shop in some regular stores as well. I'm kind of right on that cusp of regular sizes and plus sizes. So I'm not completely out of plus sizes, but honestly, if I decided I never wanted to shop in a plus size store again, I could. I just, it's like a security blanket for me, so I still do it. And then adjusting my clothes, like, I don't know how many of you can relate to this, but when you're big and you're like constantly like pulling things down and adjusting things to try and hide everything. And I realize I don't do it as much anymore, but it's still a habit that I kind of have to break myself of. Personal space. I used to always feel uncomfortable sitting right next to people because I felt that they were uncomfortable sitting next to me because I was like up in their personal space, spilling over the seat, whatever, like on public transportation or God forbid on an airplane. I don't really feel that way anymore. Every once in a while, the fat girl mentality still like feels awkward or anxious about sitting right next to someone, but it has gotten a lot better for sure. What else? Oh, well, this kind of goes along with it, but just people's judgments. As I've said before, no one would see me still and be like, oh, look how thin that girl is. I mean, I'm not. I'm still very overweight. But people definitely treat me differently and react to me differently. And I think that that's a good thing. I think I would have to make a whole separate video on that, but I don't feel like I'm judged quite as harshly anymore as I used to be. Physical limitations and weight limits. Woo! Praise! I am now pretty much at the point where once I was under about 250, I was pretty much at the point where there's very few things that I would not be under the weight limit for. I can go skydiving, I can go parasailing, I can go bungee jumping, I can go ziplining, I can ride all the rides at the amusement park. I can do all those things. And that, believe it or not, was a huge, huge, huge deal for me. Because after probably like 16 years of that being an issue, it's not something I actually have to worry about anymore. And there's this crazy sort of freedom in knowing you can do whatever activity you want. So that's probably my favorite one. Hunger. Has my hunger returned? Yes, it has. I do get hungry if I don't eat. In fact, I get hungry if I don't eat every like 3 hours. I don't know if that's just a faster metabolism, if that is, I think that I may have some blood sugar issues as well. But anyway, low, not high. But yeah, it's nothing like it was before. I'm not constantly hungry. I don't feel like I have to eat all the time. And that's how I felt prior to surgery. So I don't miss that. The last one it kind of encompasses all the other ones too to some degree, and that's just the anxiety that goes with being morbidly obese. The anxiety about clothes shopping, the anxiety of being in people's personal space, the anxiety of whether you're going to fit physically in things, anxiety about whether you are going to, sit on a chair and whether it's going to hold your weight. I never realized how much that anxiety played a part in my everyday life, how much I had to think ahead and try and like make plans to avoid certain things or situations and then cover them up so people didn't realize why, even though they probably knew why. I don't have that anymore. And that is outside, obviously, of the fact that my health has improved and all of that. That is my favorite thing about this whole experience, is the freedom of not feeling like I have to think about every little thing and how it relates to my body and how my body works and how I fit. Knowing that if I want to sit in a chair, I can sit in whatever chair is around. If I want to go to a restaurant, I don't have to ask for a table. If I want to do some kind of crazy adventure activity, I don't have to be super concerned about what the weight limit is. If I want to go shopping, I can do that almost anywhere. I mean, I used to have major anxiety about traveling because I was concerned about what would happen if my luggage got lost, because I can't just go anywhere and buy clothes, or I couldn't at a size like 34. You can't just go wherever and buy clothing. And now I don't worry about it at all. I'm like, hey, there's a Walmart. It's all good. So that's really been the most rewarding, the most freeing part of this experience for me, is just feeling like I can be normal, like I can act normally like most people do, that I don't have to worry or be anxious about my body and my size all the time. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that today. I will see you guys tomorrow for Surgiversary Day. And until then, always remember, it's not about what you've lost, it's about what you've gained.